Brian barely beat Chipper. There we go. Brian, Chipper, just a hit the mute. Wait. I'm doing that. Do the thing where it doesn't keep up again. Frank Burns, C103, LS, Daniel. Daniel. And Brian Shue. Carol, LS. Don't build it wrong, Brian. Cool, gratitude. You hadn't got to come over anywhere in a while, or I hadn't seen you anyway. But then again, I missed a lot of live streams the past couple of weeks. I'm beginning to think I'd fallen off the planet. Hey, Tibor. Tibor, I actually have a video dedicated to you that I'm going to post sometime next day or two. That shows me fishing with your fishing pole. I've hooked several monsters with it, but didn't get any of them in. Hey, Aaron, I hadn't seen you in a while either. Well, I hadn't seen any of you people in a while. I've been gone. Nah, I don't think it works that way, LF. All right. Hey, see one. So I can go as crazy as I want to now? Is it a hard hat or just like a normal hat? I don't have my hat on. I ain't scared. We're just going to be all nice and gentle and stuff today.
Well, wow, Wes, I've been gone for a while, working on 4,000 subs. Congrats.
Yeah, it's been weird. I can't keep up with the comments anymore. I don't know how BA does it. I clicked on my deal the other day to see how many total views I had or whatever. And I was just like, wow, that's like a lifetime. The number of minutes or whatever that people have watched my channel, it adds up to a person's life. Nearly. Kind of heavy if you think about it. Yeah, it missed. I tried to wait and go live the other day, but I had a live stream out the other day. It never sent out a notification. I tried to load it like 3 times and it never would send any notifications. Happy Easter to you too. Happy celebration of the defeat of death. But no happy celebration of fertility. DSH. Don't know that one. Might be the mullet. I'm having a hard time editing because I was so tired by day 3 that I was unkept, and the shirt I had on was too small, and I look fat. So my vanity is getting in the way of y'all's video viewing. I'll have to work on that. It's kind of bad because I don't actually look that bad, but it looks like I look that bad. That was a new shirt that had gotten wet, and it was 100% cotton, and it shrunk. Well, my bad. Kind of rained a lot while I was there, and there was nothing I could do about it. I wish it would let me do the. It won't let me. I was thinking about like letting y'all preview a couple of clips or whatever, but it won't let me share. See, like if I pull up a video or whatever on my computer, it won't let me share it on here. It's annoying. It'll let me share a web page, but not something directly off my computer. It's annoying. I would really like to get the top to grow out and match the back. I would like to have a full mullet. I would like to go. I'd like to have this up here all grow back into my mullet and just keep the sides clear. But we'll want to see about that. That's the plan. I'm gonna try to grow it out one more time before I go completely bald. Hello, my prepper and Sid's dad. I have a Facebook page, but I don't go on there very much at all. Hey, Zach. D-Day, Kentucky. Who else have I missed coming in? Jay. Yeah, that's why I'm working on a non-intentional mohawk. I don't know if you can tell. I'm lucky right here. I'm not getting the. It's a family trait. This little patch right here. So far, I'm dodging it. Did Daniel shave his head again? What did he do this time? Everything that's going on in my world, would kill to be able to just sit around and watch YouTube videos. Honestly, is that a chicken or a cat crying? Chicken, never mind. Y'all should like share the snot out of that poison ivy video. In my research, because I was looking for pictures of poison ivy, I was going to try to make it a few minutes long, or actually seconds. I was aiming for a 2-minute video, and I was going to show poison. There are people out there that have got web pages and videos about poison ivy, and they're showing non-toxic plants that they're claiming to be poison ivy. They're going to get people in trouble. That video, the one is Western poison oak, and the other is poison ivy. They're both exaggerated in their growth because they're growing inside a barn. When I was hiding from the rain trying to put some dry clothes on in the barn, I turned around. I was like, well, looky here. I'll just do a video about these guys.
So could you talk a little bit
Oh.
about the 10 Commandments is on, and I can't hear what they're saying. And then he comes back and oh wait, I'm wearing earbuds. No wonder.
Just for you, Chipper, I'll talk it down a little bit. I hate to like confuse your movie, whatever.
You know how to tell.
What is it?
Frank told Chipper 10 times out. Oh, it's okay.
They get broke, don't they? Anyway, what were we talking about? Poison ivy, yeah. That's a big deal. I mean, poison ivy sucks. If you're quick, though, you can get on top of it. But you got to be quick. Yeah, that's
Or is that that's a stingray? Well, not a stingray. Jellyfish.
Jellyfish. It helps a little bit. Still doesn't kill it, though. Doesn't kill a jellyfish. Hurts like hell. Yeah, and it's poison ivy and poison oak share one common trait. They have 3 leaves on each. They have 3 leaflets on each leaf. Okay. The center leaf, there's going to be 2 side by side coming out directly across from each other on the stem. Then there's going to be another leaf coming up out of the middle. This leaf, the middle leaf, the stem for that leaf is going to be longer than the 2 on the side. The shape of the leaves will be different. The poison oaks, there's so many different kinds of poison oak that you got to be careful. There's eastern, western, southern, red, yada, yada, yada. Some of them have a real waxy looking leaf. Some of them don't. But it doesn't matter whether it's poison ivy or poison oak. They have the same, and they're still just, I mean, it's just the shape of the leaf, really.
Hey, Jonathan. Got your answer. Funny question.
Maybe sometime. Maybe. If we finally got rid of the rabbit killing his dog on the planet, so we might have some rabbits around here. But anyway, the poison ivy is always, it's always going to be poison ivy or poison oak. Super easy spot. Oh, no crayons.
Poison oak ivy have 2 things in common. The other is they make bad.
You see that? Short, directly across from each other, short. The outside of the leaves on the ivy is going to be rough. The inside, 99% of times, is going to be smooth. This one is going to be smooth on both sides or rough on both sides. But this right here, this long stem, that's it. That's what you need to worry about. Now, even on the poison sumac, all you do, literally take the mittens off and just put more leaves. Poison sumac, you just put more, and these can be like on 5, 6, 8 of them down through here. But the front leaf is going to have a longer stem. It's going to have 6 or 8 leaves to either side of the leaf. Then it's going to have leavettes on those big patches. Those are leafette or leaves, and then each one of these little deals is a leafette. The center, the front, most forward leafette is going to have a longer stem.
Keyboard, so Boy Scouts. If it's leaves of 3, leave it be.
Yeah. And some leaves of 3, though, they're even spaced. And I mean, it's still not worth the deal. If you don't know for sure what that is, leave it alone. And there's some plants out there that aren't poison ivy that will mess you up. There's stinging nettle and a couple other things. Yeah, I just couldn't find the crayon. I had to use a ink pen. R2, fancy schmancy gel pen thing. Yes. Smoking sumac will kill you. It doesn't make you sick. It doesn't anything else that kills you. Yeah, the well-established poison ivy will have a hairy vine. It's looking for, those are all little roots. It's looking for purchase anywhere. So, found a grapevine when I was in San Antonio. The part I stepped over, I thought it was a falling down tree, and I was like, wait a minute, and I pushed it. I looked up, I'm like, wow, the canopy was grape leaves. This grapevine was this flipping big around. How long's that been growing there, you wonder? You know, we found several like this. That one was just freaking huge. It'd been there forever. We tried that. All our goats want to do is eat shrubbery, and I planted those shrubberies. I have no yard. I have no grass. I hate looking at my yard. I've been trying to cover it with junk. I don't even put my stuff in the tool shed anymore. I just park it somewhere so I don't have to look at the dirt. Sell this place and move into an apartment in the city.
I think so.
You can eat stinging nettle. You just have to wear gloves when you harvest it. Stinging nettle is a food. The only thing you don't want to eat it raw. Sheep sorrel, don't want to really eat it raw. It's really good though for you. It's like spinach. Sorrel was my favorite. Well, the wild food that I ate while I was down there, the sorrel and the parsley and the cactus were probably by far the most delicious. Uh, the other than the going from crunchy lettuce to eating a slug, the cactus petals were really good too. And when you chew them up, it's all of a sudden feels like you got a snail sliding around on your tongue. So, be advised.
How often do you fish? How far are you from a pond or river?
I am 15 minutes from a stream that has fish in it. I am an average of 1 hour from several lakes. I am approximately an hour and 45 from my favorite river. And I fish every chance I can get. I like to fish.
Kebab the snails.
You can eat snails. They're disgusting. Um, it tastes like butt, man. There's a lot of stuff out there you can eat that is not enjoyable. Um, Now, there's some snails you want to avoid because if you don't cut the right part out, you're in a world of hurt. The big, like sea snails and stuff, are okay. They're different. We didn't get to harvest clams. Went to clam harvesting school and everything, and then didn't get to harvest it because, well, there was a flood. Well, I call it a flood. Around here, we'd called it a flood. We did use them for fish bait.
Are you catching and cooking animals?
We did one. They're actually overrun. We caught a few, but because reasons, we only ate one. Uh, I prefer live traps because you can see if the animal is healthy before you decide to eat it. There was one that was dispatched and disposed of because it was not healthy. And another one had family issues, and I could not bring myself to do the deed.
How many more videos got lined up with your adventure on Bob Handler's property?
Right now, I'm looking, and I'm not even through sorting. I've got approximately 16 videos that will be coming up. I will try to release them in order of relevance, either 1 or 2 a week. I've got to get it all sorted and all chronologically in order and stuff. I had 3 recording devices going at various times. So I've got to sort through all the different recording devices, storage deals, and it's well, yeah, it's a headache. Be a whole lot easier just to run one camera the way I used to. But I really tried to maximize my time while I was down there. There will be 7 that are specific to what we were doing, and then there will be others that are just part of it. There will be quite a bit that is going to be released for patrons only on my Patreon channel. It will remain patrons only on my Patreon channel. There were several times that we just turned the camera on and we just hung out. Those, you'll get to see snippets of it on YouTube, but the uncut versions will be on Patreon. That has nothing to do with me trying to get Patreon money. That has something to do with me trying not to get every snowflake on the freaking planet trolling my channel.
That's said yes, T-board, but Wes, I'm guessing the fish that got off were guarded.
Well, Tibor, you hear your story? Two of them were. One of them did not have scales, and he was yellow-ish, yellow and shiny, and he was about 3 foot long. I would have been the hero. We wouldn't have had to fish no more. It would have been a personal best on catfish for me. Yep. It was just guessing from in the water. It was a 30 or 40 pound yellow cat. It was freaking huge.
Sorry.
Tell her it's just a point of reference that's used often by individuals to describe something that doesn't taste good. And give her a hug and a kiss and tell her good one. I appreciate the burn. So. Oh. Anyway. Tell her it's past her bedtime. She got school tomorrow or something. I'm go get a cup of coffee. Wash my face. Try to get rid of some of the flush. Who's saying good night?
It's Dad.
Good night, says Dad. Anyway, I'm probably more anxious to get the videos out than y'all are. But every time I think I've got them all sorted, I'm like, oh, I didn't put this one in a box yet. I actually have day one up on Patreon. It was easy. It was like when we were all excited and thought this was going to be a breeze. Um, Day 2 was not bad. Day 3 and 4 were miserable. Seven was good, and 6 wasn't bad. Hey, Killdeer.
Nothing new under the sun. Everybody does stuff. It's just different takes on it.
Yeah, that's it's funny. I was when I went live Friday or whatever. I had mine titled "How Bad Does It Need to Get" or whatever, and then Prepper Nurse had gone live. I didn't know that, and his was "How Bad Is It Gonna Get?" Or I mean, almost exactly the same titles or whatever. I don't know what his was about. But, your fishing pole is going to Paint Rock with me really soon. Yeah, spam is actually good. It's not. It's not baloney. Spam is not baloney. Treat, on the other hand, is basically canned, bland bologna. I am working on going back to. I would really like to hop in the truck tomorrow and drive back to San Antonio. Because it's if I wasn't nursing blisters and working in mud, might be able to get something done.
Daniel's out.
Good night, Daniel. But as soon as I went down there, I'd put a water. I am hoping to go back in the fall. Yeah, the recipe for spam. Look up the recipe for spam. Spam's actually it's just canned ham. That's all it is. They do put a little bit too much, but you can make your own spam. Then you can regulate the amount of salt you put in there. The salt is actually a preservative. That's the reason canned spam will sit on the shelf as long as it will. Yeah, if the deer looks like it hadn't eaten all summer long, shoot it, leave it lay. Just pretend like you don't know nothing about it. Um, Now, this isn't coming from the game warden, okay? The only way to get that disease out of the deer herd is to clear all the sick animals. The only way to clear because it can be passed in the milk from animal or from mother to child. So once it's in the herd's got it. The animal will have it for 5 or 6 years before it shows signs. Cook it. Well done. Whatever wild game, cook it well done. There's no anything of it jumping from animal to human or whatever, but you know, definitely don't eat the deer that's walking around picking up the smart pills off the ground. Okay, that one's advanced. Yeah, it looks like it could eat a cheeseburger, but it's eating deer poop or rabbit poop or bear poop. It's brain fried. It's done. Oh, it felt good, but every time I had something, because not a single small animal took the bait on it. Well, I had big bait every time, but yeah, that catfish shredded a 30-pound steel leader. Caught a soft shell about this big too. The I'm really having a hard time being sold on those circle hooks because they come out and they hook the corner of the catfish's mouth. If they come out and hook the little bone, the little jawbone or whatever, they're good. But you hook a 10 or 20-pound catfish in the skin on the side of his face, he's just gonna pull a hook out. Exactly, LS. You could take a blood sample in or a brain sample in and pay for them to test the animal. Um, that's like the mad cow thing that everybody's freaking out about. It doesn't show up in the feeder cows or in the butcher, in the steers and stuff that go to the feedlots and stuff before they come to the market. It doesn't show up. It only shows up in your breeder herds because they're the only ones that stay alive long enough for the symptoms to show up. Everything out there's got something wrong with it. The biggest thing is don't be so stinking afraid of everything. I mean, just be prudent. It's like the whole armadillos got cancer. Don't eat armadillos. They got cancer. Don't eat raccoons. They got a disease. The disease is in their intestines and in their fecal matter. Don't play with the raccoon. Kill it. Skin it and eat it. Don't let the damn thing bite you. I was doing that, but they were headed for a tree. That was my issue. I kept having to fight them out of a tree. A couple years ago, when the river got real swollen or whatever, you go back and watch the videos on Bob Hanser's deal. It washed a bunch of the willows into the river, and the big fish hit the bait and they run right straight for them logs. And once they're there, if they get in it, they're gone anyways. So. Jeremy's in here?
No. DJ Chinatown.
Oh, yeah. Jeremy. I love raccoon meat. It's actually delicious. We just didn't ever catch one. I was running braided line, and that stuff's amazing. But still, you know, if you're hooked in the skin on the side of the mouth, it's coming out. If you're not hooked behind that jawbone, you're not getting the fish.
I see that there is raccoon served in some restaurants, and I see that there are some videos about deglanding the raccoon. Is that necessary?
I've never done that. The deglanding thing, I don't know that it matters. The thing to do, DJ, would be to check, because Jeremy's been doing updates on his channel, live updates on his year-long wild food, nothing but wild food thing. And him and Daphne are real good about answering the questions like that. I don't think the glands matter, but maybe they do. I've never done it, so I can't tell you whether there's a difference in the flavor. The trick to gorge hook fishing, is you have to they have to be able to swallow the bait. The gorge hook won't catch in their mouth. That's not how gorge hook works. Y'all ready for crayons again? I mean, you can get lucky on perch because they hit it and they close their mouth, and you can bank them. You don't have to unhook them because they close their mouth. You pull them up out of the water, they land on the bank. They're flopping around. I'm not an artiste, okay? Not to scale. Fish. This is a fish. You see that? A regular fish hook works by going in here and hooking them in the face or something. A gorge hook is basically, and this is not to scale again, a gorge hook is basically a pointy stick with a line tied to the middle of it. This has to get past here, which is the fish's throat. Once it gets past here, this is their throat opens and closes, okay? Once it gets past their throat and you pull it, the gorge hook's actually too big to come back out their throat. So you can drag them in that way. That's how it works. Now there's a way to make a gorge hook that you can catch like a smaller fish. If you whittle it just right, you can, when they take the bait, you can set it and it'll actually flip up and it'll wedge in the fish's mouth on a small fish, and you can pull them out. Then your gorge hook, you don't have to cut the fish open to get your hook back. But you might not get lucky with whether or not you get the fish on that, because, you know, if the fish is the right size, you get it on the bank. If it's too big, it'll open its mouth. The tension is spread out from tip to tip rather than, you know, pulling right on the middle. Like when the fish's throat's closed, your stick and you're just pulling right in the middle. All the leverage is on your side, as opposed to the leverage being on the fish's side when it's in its mouth and you're pulling on the middle and it's holding the top. Now I need a matchstick or toothpick. Honey, are there any toothpicks? Are there any toothpicks in the kitchen?
I don't know what you're asking.
Toothpicks.
I have just like,
Ow. Hold on. I gave you a demonstration. LS, you're like one of the best question askers in here. FYI, possum liver is some catfish catching stuff. And it'll stay up on the hook like you would not believe. What are the pills?
breath mint.
This is over exaggerated gorge hook. Okay. When I need a string. It's not a string. I brought home a wine cup. I was gonna plant it and it got all dried out. Anyway, basically, when the string's on it and it's in the throat, it doesn't want to break because it's got little bitty short arms. But then when it's in their mouth and you pull on it, it'll break. Wes S, the science guy, is through with that part. We were using snails that we picked up off the ground and stuff. And then we got the marsupial and we sacrificed parts of the marsupial to fish bait, and our fish consumption drastically increased. Even the one that didn't become food became fish bait. And actually, we caught some perch, and we banked them and let them die, and then we put them in some water so we could keep them from walking off with ants and stuff. And then we got busy, and by the end of day 2 or day 1, they were, well, it would be day 2, they were stinking. They were excellent bait. We were catching them, and the catfish were going for the dead and stinking blue perch.
You use yo-yo?
I was going to set the yo-yos up to do some fishing, some perch fishing and stuff, but then the creek rose and it was really hard to get in there. And I didn't want to go for a swim. I didn't want to risk my yo-yos. Hello, H&X. Oh. You have to be aware that catfish are not carnivorous. Catfish are hungry. Catfish hunt by sense of smell and taste. Catfish are aware that there's sugars in onions and wild garlic. When you've got onion and wild garlic washing off the riverbank into the river, they will eat onion. They will eat garlic. We were told by They had just had a get together on the property adjacent to us before we arrived, and one of the big they had a big what's fishing, what's working for fishing or whatever. Any bait that you used, if you put garlic powder on it or in it, it was working 10 times better. They were hitting the garlic flavored bait faster than anything else. And so they had become accustomed to there being, because they'd had a few rains and chunks of the side of the river fall in. They were hunting for the garlic. They'd already discovered the garlic in the water, the garlic and onion in the water. So they were going to the smell. It's food there. And you think about it, the other animals that they eat, the small crawdad, the minnows, stuff like that, they find something in there that has food in it. They eat it. So the bait animals that they were after were drawn to the food that had fallen into the river. On the gar, and I don't know if it's the right thing to do because I don't have a boat. Nice mo. I take um, I put my swivel and the leader and all that on, and then I run me a 3 or 4 foot drop line with the weight on it, and then I take the bait perch or whatever. You know, I keep them 2 to 4 inches long, and let them die. I mean, it sounds harsh. Put one side, lay them out where the sun hits one side of them. Okay. They'll dry curved. The one side will dry out before the other one. So they die and then they kind of curl up. And you hook them in the face. And you put them out there. The weight goes to the bottom. You leave a little slack in the line. And the current will take the minnow to the end of the swivel. And it'll sit there and the current will roll the perch. Because it's at a curve. It will sit there and it has a little bit of action to it as the water goes by. The gar will come up and hit it. It has worked repeatedly. The gar will come up and hit it. Then you let them run with it when they set. And then when you feel them take off again, then you go for the hook set. Who? Am I? Not am I?
Do you do any hunting where you're at? I know you said you use the live catch traps. Do you ever get a feral? Have you ever got a feral?
We've gotten feral hogs here. It's 0 for 0 in San Antonio. We had given up on it. We quit looking for them, watching for them. We left all the heavy firepower at the house. We drive around the corner. There's a herd of freaking hogs there. We all get out. We got 2 22s and in our sidearms. And you know, y'all saw me last time. I couldn't hit it with an AR, so I took the shot. Get it. Oddly enough, there was a fawn colored hog, a couple of 2 or 3 black hogs, and a red hog that were all, right at 75 or 100 pounds. And my son got a good look at the red one. He said, "Dad, it had a hole in its ear. You reckon that's that one you shot last time you was down here?" That would have been funny. I would have loved to have got that one, but I'm going back. I'll get one. Here, it's easy. They come out of the brush and you shoot them. Down there, out of the brush or in the brush are vaguely the same. So, we had 10, 15 second window from seeing them to stop, get out, and try to get a shot. So, you out, Just Aid?
No.
Oh, sorry. Now, I want to try the string thing. The
Do you do more with javelinas or regular?
we don't have javelinas. Well, actually, we do a few, but I've never seen one around me. I've seen where people have taken them. They're more east or west of me. Now, if I elected not to take my bow and my my fishing arrow, and I had to sit there and watch a 4-foot gar swim 10 foot from me for over an hour. That's on me.
You're going to put out more cooking videos. I saw the cornbread.
Yeah, I've got a couple of. I did a couple of cooking videos while I was down in San Antonio. Those will be up. I actually like doing the cooking videos. They're cool. There's some back. If you go back in the way back in my videos, there's some more back there. Uh, you'll get to be some of a very select few who've actually watched the videos. A lot of my old stuff don't have very many views on it. I've got some cornbread videos, got some. I got videos way back there, but yeah, I'll do them every once in a while uh, whenever I do a go camping or fishing or something. I usually wind up making a video. You jump in the water with something with a 1/2 inch long teeth and a 8 inch long face. How you doing? And I thought about it. I actually thought about going and getting a stick and stabbing it, duct taping or not duct tape, but sports taping my knife to the stick and trying to stab him in the head. But I'm going to practice with my bow. I'm real rusty on it. Yeah, there's that. Uh, I didn't realize it. I mean, I could have borrowed Rob. Rob had a Hawaiian sling, but it never occurred to me to borrow it. I could have got it with that, but I mean, what do you do with a 3.5 foot gar on the end of a aluminum stick that's tied to your wrist, and you're on a muddy bank that keeps caving in?
Is dynamite illegal?
What?
Or dynamite water?
Depends. Sometimes fish die, but if you're just trying to clear a brush dam or whatever incident, what? There was like a mud blog right there, and it was backing up the creek. It really needed to go. Shit happens. I mean, yes, dear, using dynamite for fishing is strictly illegal and forbidden.
You wrestled a gator before, so gar ain't no thing.
Yeah, gator was on dry land too. catch a gator, a little gator sleep, but it ain't nothing to jump on his back and say, "Giddy up, little doggy." But because he can't do a whole lot. You got a 40-pound gator underneath you, and you got a hold of his face, and can't do nothing. But you're in 3 foot of water with a chunk of muscle and teeth. That's a little different. We don't want to bait hogs over here. We actually had one that had taken up residence behind our house, and then he'd gone across the highway to root around in another hay field, and they got him when they were cutting it. They hit him with a swather, man. It's nasty. Yeah, this dog's not. She's not the best hog dog in the world. She doesn't chase them down and wait for me to get them. She just runs them off and then comes back. I got rid of it, Dad. Dumbass, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to run them around in circles until they get tired, and then I get there. But it looked pretty gross. I imagine it was fun trying to get it out of the thing too. I'm debating on whether or not to get me another pup. I was wanting to breed my dog, but then I'm stuck with 11 other puppies or 10 or however many she has. And if I just get one, then I only have one puppy. Yeah, like flounder and halibut and most of the saltwater fish. Ooh, what's it called? Surf fishing, when you wade out in the water and you throw your bait out there and then you wait for it to run off and then you reel it in. I really enjoy catching sailcat. The saltwater catfish that's got the really long thing sticking off of their fins or whatever. Those are fun. I like catching them. I like eating them too. I want a Catahoula. I want another Catahoula. Curs are all right, but I don't know. They're not as amiable towards human beings as Catahoulas are. I want zero human aggression in my dogs. I don't tolerate it in my animals. If I have a dog that growls and snaps at somebody, I put it down. Yeah, I don't tolerate it. I will not. I don't. I'm not going to chamber around in this and put it down in the floor with the toddler. Why would I have a dog that showed aggression to a human being laying in the floor with my toddler? That's the same thing to me. Exactly. Catahoulas have what, 10 or 9 to 13 pups every time? And the pups are worth money, but they're I said to make sure that it wasn't chambered. I picked it up twice today. Halibut are like the North Atlantic version of the flounder. Yes. And yes, halibut get big. No, they don't. Uh, my old one would, the pup that sounds harsh, it's the animal world. The pup that chose to fight for food the least would get picked up. She'd pick it up and she'd walk it off in the pasture and she would drop it. And then she'd come back to the others. And then the next one that started getting weak because it wouldn't fight for food, she would pick it up and take it back. Frankie they're weird. They don't have 8 teats. They have extra. Anyway, until she got 9 or 10 pups that would fight each other for food, she would call. Her record was 13 pups. Born out of the 13, she allowed 9 of them to get to weaning age. She's the dog. She knows more about doghood than I do. I let her make the choice on the pups. Now she did have one litter of 11, and all 11 made it. And every one of those dogs turned into some really good animals. And that's the deal. I don't know why they have so many pups, and I don't know why they call like they do, but that's the way they work. The Catahoula is considered to be the first true American breed of dog. You know, the first breed of dog indigenous to the, well, not indigenous, but European and local dogs, and boom, then you get the Catahoula. Yep. See you in a bit, Zach. Now I'm actually this dog will be taught to cruise with me because when I go camping, I want something to help me clean the dishes. Quite honestly, and after this outing or whatever, y'all see it in the video. Rob says, I heard something. What was that? The next day, my son goes to the river, hikes over to the river to see what's going on. He comes back and says, Dad, there was cat tracks all over the hill. So we're having supper, and Rob hears something, and the next day we find cougar footprints within 20 yards of our camp. So, yeah, we need a dog. Disturbing. I'm hoping to find video evidence of it. We found bobcat tracks all over the place. Those weren't an issue, but the big cat tracks are a little disturbing. I think it was taking a shortcut to it's got a, cougars do a circle on their territory, if you will. And it was just coming back and it's like, oh, people. And it decided to go on. We never saw it or heard it or anything else like that. We never had any issue with it. But Catahoula is one of the lovingest dogs you have ever met in your life.
Jake, something to do the dishes. Oh, you need a Newfoundland. They have a tongue the size of a dish towel. Do the dishes in one swipe.
There you go. I think I just gonna give me a Catahoula that's got a better attitude and listens to what she's told all the time, not just when it's feeding time. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Give me one that don't have blue ears. It's obviously a problem. But my dog's on her own. She needs backup. So she's getting cut up. She limped around for 2 days. I don't even know what she got into, but she got into it with something. And the more your dog fights, the earlier they die. And I kind of like the useless dog. Even if she does get gas a lot. But whenever she has gas, she sleeps over there. So I don't know.
Yeah, she sits by me. A problem.
Not over here. Dude, I'd taken a hike, and all of a sudden how you get the burning hole in the back of your head or whatever. You're like, okay, what's going on? So I'm standing. I've got my handgun out, just turning in circles, scanning everything. But you've got all that. The tops of that grass is dust brown, and you've got all them flowers out there. I wasn't going to see that cat looking at me through them flowers. He could have been 30 yards away. I never would have saw him until it was too late. And I was actually inside a little grove that, wasn't 20 foot or not a little opening in the trees or whatever. It was maybe 30 yards to one patch of trees, 10 yards behind me, 15 yards either side. So, it laying down in the shade in the grass underneath one of them trees or whatever, I wasn't going to see it. But, yeah. And see, that's my first Catahoula's name was Frankie. She was dark blue brindle with blue eyes. The best dog I've ever had. She would fetch. She would even retrieve birds for me, but I had to stay on top of her, or she would pretend like she didn't find the bird and eat it. Which they're not retrievers, but that's how good a dog she was. She would retrieve for them. 2 out of 3 birds isn't a bad trade for a dog that'll go fetch your dove. Just saying. But when she got a belly full, she didn't want to play anymore. There was that. I bet that Beeler Heeler mix is a pain in the butt. I mean, hey, let's take a crackhead and breed it to a tweaker and see what happens. or what do they call it? Twitcher, meth head, and see what happens. Oh, look, I have a blue beagle. Or a beeler. A beeler. Would that be a beeler? A beagler? A beagler. You have a beagler. Uh, Huckleberry has got to be one of the coolest dogs. But I think dogs take on their people. So.
That's what I say.
Pretty much.
Just to...
I've got a goldfish. Yeah, you do. You have several goldfish. They talk to her. There will be a video dedicated purely to Huckleberry. I've never had a dog so happy to see. He hadn't seen me in a year. And he come running up to me and jumped up in my lap. And went right, when I started petting him, he went right to growling at me. That's how he lets you know he's enjoying it. He growls at you. It's retarded as shit ever. Hey, Matt. What's up? One of our friends went to New York a couple of weeks ago, Matt. She said your state sucks. That's a quote. She's like, the people were just rude. They're all just going everywhere and pushing you, or they wouldn't have time to talk or nothing, and blah, 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 blah. Didn't enjoy it. That's funny. I was like, you went to New York City. What did you expect? I mean, that's not on my bucket list. I'd like to go to upstate New York.
Bunch of angry girls.
Yeah, it's basically what she said. She said they weren't going back. I actually like New Jersey. I hear a lot of people talk shit about New Jersey, but I like New Jersey. But that was in the 70s, 70s and 80s.
Upstate is like down south.
Yeah. Well, I think that once you get away from the cities, man, it's all right. Man, the people in rural Pennsylvania, they're like the people I grew up with, dude. They're just like a bunch of hillbillies. I mean, seriously, a chick wearing nothing but bib overalls, driving a red tractor, plowing up corn stalks. I was in love. Now, the Newark, I didn't really enjoy being in Newark, but uh, the and believe it or not, not all of New Jersey is a city. Believe it or not, they have rural places. I, I'm guessing you're from New Jersey. There's that. Yeah, you out of that? You out of New York yet, Matt? Matt. Oh, PA, dude. I threw major respect towards PA. What are you talking about? Now, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, they scare the crap out of me. But the rural part, I like them people. Yeah, rural PA is cool. I like rural PA. Lived in a log cabin on the side of a mountain. Didn't have no windows. I bathed in a pond, a spring-fed pond in front of the house. I cooked on an open fire hole in the middle of the building. There's a chimney above it. It was cool. Okay, there was like a stovepipe and a hood. Same difference. I I was actually close to a town called New Milford. There's more than one New Milford in Pennsylvania, but it was a little to the north of in Pennsylvania. It was like northern Pennsylvania. Well, that sucker's loud. No, that was the unicorns going by. Sometimes the sound carries really strongly. Most times we can't hear it at all. And then every once in a while, it's just like booms, like it's right outside the door. Even we usually can't hear the track noise at all. We can hear it rolling down the track right now. Is it humid outside?
Yes.
No. High humidity.
Humidity makes sound travel.
Yeah, there's that. It might have been Gabriel's trumpet.
Jay.
Yep, that's it right there. And sometimes it's a female howling because if the male's checking and he sneezes, you'd be a little uncomfortable. All right, killed here. Have a good one. Wow, you can hear his horn all the way down to that other one. That's 2 miles. 2 miles further down the track. Oh, Killdeer thought he was getting raptured. Am I the only one that caught that Killdeer? I guess I have. They sell them as children's toys at Walmart. You know, that stick you can drop all the different sized circles on or whatever. They need to come to Bible study more, don't they? Okay, Matt, be careful. Watch out. I hear there's some redneck with a mullet gunning for the Easter Bunny. He's looking for a 200-pounder. So don't put the suit on. Just go outside. I see a pink bunny stashing eggs on my property. I'm putting one right between its eyeballs.
Wes, old man said to tell you hey and have a great.
Tell him I said hey back, Chipper. Is he on Instio, Gramio, or whatever? I didn't check Instagram all day. Um, that's a pretty snakes. Well, yeah. I went to touch the screen and it stuck his tongue out at me. Stop it. Okay, let's scroll up from that.
Just signed out to you.
Oh, okay. Oh, my head hurts. All right, T-Boy, have a good one. Hope everything works out better, man. Hope life gets better. Health to everybody. Time to go to the stove. Our pills. How long I've been on here anyways?
Almost there.
But Tuesday I'll be back on with the Bible study. Good night, brother T-Boy. Um, sometime between 7:30 I'll be on. I'll try to find something positive and uplifting to tell y'all. Or I'll just go with whatever the Holy Spirit puts on me to tell you. Are these like crazy ones or are they super hot, these mints? All right, good night, Aaron. I wanted some stripper clips from my SKS. I'd like to have at least 5. I'd rather have 10, but I'd like to have 5. Hey, Walter. The problem is that on the Bible study at home, the Spirit's been hitting me hard from every flipping angle lately. About the state of the world. And about the complacency of believers. He hasn't been leading me to convert people to Christianity. He's been leading me to scare the crap out of believers and let them know that, for lack of a better way to put it, he's tired of having to wipe your ass for you. I mean, it's really time some of the people out there that claim Yeshua as their Messiah. It's high time they picked up the chicken leg and started eating the meat, bathing themselves, and being a little bit more accountable. So that's what I've got to work through. Got to figure out how to do one of those type Bible studies without losing all my subscribers.
Is it really complacent in the US, or are people working so hard to keep their heads above water?
No, and I don't mean. I'm talking in their faith, complacency in their faith. I'm guilty of it. Because I worry about the guy in the mirror. And if I see something going on with the guy in the mirror, and then I can see that same thing going on somewhere else, then I'll talk about it. But if it's not going on with the guy in the mirror, I don't have any business. I'm not going to preach at people about what they're doing. I'm going to talk about what God's talking to me about. That's what I prefer to do. But, well, I'm not sure if this is the question you're asking, Jay, but let's assume that God says a thing or a way of life or a way of acting, a set of morals and ethics are okay. And then he says over here on the other hand, opposite side of that, he says these things are neither moral nor ethical. Okay. Now the believer in Yeshua that has accepted the blood and the sacrifice for the atonement for all these things over here uses that atonement to either continue with or be okay with or ignore all these things over here because it will affect their socioeconomic situation, their standing in the community, their peace at home with their family, whatever. If they're not willing to stand against the things that God is against and for the things that God are for, if they're willing to keep claiming the blood and not stand with the righteous or stand for what is righteous, God does have a problem with that. If he didn't, there would have been no need for Yeshua.
Okay.
So,
And Agent X says, try something positive and uplifting, something cheery and happy, like, say, Ecclesiastes.
I love Ecclesiastes. It's not my favorite book. I love Ecclesiastes. We go Ecclesiastes all day long. I throw Ecclesiastes at myself all the time. Ecclesiastes really does get me through the day. A lot of days. I've got a couple of family members that believe that even though it's repeatedly called against and stuff, that it's not okay, that they truly believe that they can be born again children of God and live a certain type of lifestyle. They're wrong. There will come a day shortly after the great and terrible day of the Lord, like instantly, where they will stand before our Lord and Savior. And he will ask them why they should get into heaven as opposed to be kicked out. And they will say, didn't we worship you? Didn't we cast out demons? Didn't we spread your love? Didn't we do this? Didn't we do that? And he will quite simply say to them, depart from me, ye workers of iniquity, for I never knew you. There is a right and a wrong way to live. It's that simple.
Should we fight violent evil?
Walter, if you are living your life according to the teachings of Yah and through the what is the right word? Through his son, Yeshua, Jesus. And the evil, the violent evil that beseeches you is a result of your fellowship with the Most High and with his son. Then I don't think there's any rules. If you can run away, you run away. If you can't, you don't. Is God okay with shooting the banker that comes to repossess your house because you've worked so hard to keep it or whatever? I don't think so. That's something you got to answer yourself. But don't try to justify an act of violence towards a fellow human being with scripture. That has to be, that justification, that righteous action has to be edified, built up in you by the Holy Spirit. You talk about people that suffered violent evil. The founders of the early church, the stuff they went through. Did Stephen, as he was being stoned to death, did he call? Because there were believers in the crowd. There were probably equally as many believers in the crowd as there were non-believers stoning him? Did he cry out to the Lord or to his fellow believers for a violent reaction to the violence against him? No, because it wouldn't have done God any good. Does violence ever do God good? There were several times he told David to go out and be pretty stinking violent. It's not up to us to decide how we deal with it. It's something that God has to tell us, and it has to come from God when it happens. I'm. The Bible tells us to get, sell our cloak and buy a sword. So if you're supposed to be a pacifist, then I don't think you need a sword. But you better make sure that you're swinging that sword because of your faith, not because of your personal beliefs. That's going to be the justification. You can't, I don't think, to prevent the slaughter of innocent Christians, I think God would be okay with the use of the sword for, the slaughter of innocents for the sake of, do not hate me for this, even for the sake of our Constitution. I'm not sure that God would be okay with that, because he gave our founding fathers the chance to write the Constitution 100% the way they wanted to. They amended it so many times before it ever got passed. They wanted to abolish slavery then. They wanted the Americas to be completely slave free. They elected not to do so. They wanted to give everybody the vote in the original Constitution. They elected not to do so. They wanted to be more specific about certain rights and freedoms in the Constitution, but they elected not to do so. So while they were given the opportunity to have a godly country based on a godly Constitution and precepts, they elected to let their human side, their greed, their covetousness get in there and muddy the waters, and here we are. So, if there's somebody now, check your fire. Is the guy hiding behind the trash barrel shooting at the other people? Is he the good guy or the bad guy? But if you drive by a church and you hear gunfire, I would run to that. If you see a guy swerve up on the sidewalk and start taking people out, I'd throw my seatbelt on and I would T-bone him up against the first building I could get to. That is okay. Fleeing to preserve oneself while allowing others to die, God's not fond of cowardice. So he prefers people to be aware of their situation. When they were selecting 300 commandos to go in and do what needed to be done, they selected the people that were wise enough to dip from the river and drink from their hands and continue to see what was going on around them. He chose the people that were willing to be aware of what was going on around them to do what needed to be done. instead of drinking like dogs from a dish. Who tricked me into going religious and philosophical? It wasn't LS this time. Who did it?
You just decided.
I just decided. Why is my mustache itching? Who's thinking about my mustache? Y'all need to quit it. Y'all drive me nuts.
I still blame LS.
I was thinking it might have been Jay this time, but I'll go with him on that. Probably LS thing. Y'all get me to do that every time. I don't mind though. I really enjoyed carrying my wife's Glock around in Senate. I carried my Beretta the first 4 days. I was like, I can't do it anymore. I took that sledgehammer off and put on the tack hammer. So much lighter. There's that one, Robert. Yeah, I like playing with Flat Earth or whatever. I think the maps are cool. And actually, they're lying to us, Earther. I don't think the Earth is the size they're telling us. I think it's bigger. The math don't add up. You know what I'm saying? There's some holes in some of the stuff. I don't think the Earth is flat. Pretty sure it's round, or at least egg shaped, maybe like a football or something. But or not a foot. What's that one ball? It's kind of like a basketball, but it's flat on the end. What is that? It's some stupid game, some third world country game. Anyway, I think the Earth's quite a bit bigger at the equator than they let on. I do think it is. And it wouldn't take much. All they'd have to do is, shrink it by, I mean, how much more surface area? Just add 5,000 miles at the equator. Okay. 5,000 miles of the circumference at the equator. Think how much more water that makes. Yeah, Jay, that's basically it. Yes, what LS said, and good on you, Zach. And yes, Jay, and I am tired, folks. I'm gonna ask that y'all pray for me. I've got a lot of weight on my shoulders that I'm trying really hard to give to God. And it's not easy. It's like sticky weight. Hey, now easy. Flat Earth isn't necessarily dumb. It's kind of fun. If you make them mad, they quit talking about it. And I don't quit talking about it because then they quit drawing those really cool maps.
I measured the Earth once. Took me 2 months to roll up the tape measure.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know. I think it'd be cool to find another island out in the Pacific somewhere about the size of the state of Texas, and nobody else knew it was there. Just a bunch of naked Hawaiian type people running around. Crash my little airplane there. Become Emperor West. Eating bananas and pineapples and wild pigs, and it's a party on, dude. I think it'd be cool. And don't forget to carry the decimal point in the right spot. Depends on which dinosaurs. Don't want none of them velociraptors down there. So, anyway. God bless y'all. Y'all stay alive. Do not die. Yeah, exactly. Name it Westland. Or Wes's land. New Westnia. You bet. That's it. New Westnia. And they ain't, trust me, it ain't gonna be no immigration thing or whatever. We building a wall. They're gonna be like, "Oh, mighty Emperor West, what should we do first?" I said, "Put up a damn wall. Anything that comes within 20 miles of the shoreline, put a hole in it at the water line. Stab everybody in the eye that comes off the boat." Ain't get no Democrats up on here. I don't know, Jay. We'll have to see about it. You'll have to do some time in California to make sure you clear first. The asylum office will be in Southern California. If anybody looking to move to New Westnia. Wes, when you got to come in right when I'm trying to get out here. You've been lurking, waiting for me to say goodnight so you could pop in and do that. I know how you are. Anyway, that's LS that does that. Somebody does that anyway. All right, I got to get out of here. I'm exhausted. Y'all have a blessed Easter. I hope that all the little kiddos have a blast finding all the chocolate and sugar and boiled eggs they can handle. I hope everybody eats too much and gets a good nap. Just remember, it's about the resurrection, not about everybody making sure they get pregnant and have a baby next spring. Okay? God bless y'all. Y'all still out. No doubt.